Hey YouTube, how we doing on a Wednesday night? Turn off some speakers here so I'm not getting some feedback. How's it going, everybody? Crystal Shack Aquatics, hello, thanks for joining. Redneck Aquatics, thanks for joining, man. How's it going? Appreciate you for putting in your background. So we have a lot of exciting things going on tonight. So I have we're gonna be discussing red plants. With that, we'll also cover our weekly featured background, courtesy of Redneck Aquatics. Um, and I also want to give a shout out while we're at it. I got some stickers in this week. Want to shout out Angelo from Angelo's Fish Tanks, and also Mary from RNH2O. Thank you guys. I appreciate your. If I can get it to focus here. Thank you guys for your stickers. I'll be putting together a collage. I'm starting to get kind of a collection, so I appreciate you guys for sending those. I got those the other day. Phoenix Aquatics, hello. Select Pecs, up all. How's it going, man? One Fish, Two Fish, ROC. How's it going? Appreciate you dropping in. Rob93 Aquatics, what's going on, man? Crystal Shack says red plants, highlight and iron. Well, yeah, yeah. Well, I have a couple that I'm gonna discuss today. That maybe a couple exceptions to the highlight. Um, and they probably need some iron, but not so much the CO2 and stuff like that that people come are accustomed to with the vibrant bright reds. Um, so we'll get into that. How's everyone doing tonight? We ran over from Rob 93 Aquatics. Can we hang here for now? Yes, yes, you can. You're more than welcome to hang out here. Hopefully, have a little bit of fun tonight. Everyone have a good Christmas. Hope everyone's holidays were awesome. Got to spend some time with some family. Um, you get any awesome Christmas gift, fish related Christmas gifts? My wife actually got me an official stand for a green screen, so I'm not stacking stuff up behind me to hold my green screen anymore. It's legit now, so that's awesome. Let's see. Good afternoon, everyone. Says Vinoski Tank. How's it going, man? Phoenix's Aquatic says hello, Rob93. Learning to fish keep. What's up, everyone? Crystal Shack. Good. Feeling fat for Christmas. I think we all are. My mom makes these peanut butter treats of Buckeyes. They're my favorite. Ate a bunch of those. Ate some good food. Down the wormhole. Hello, raccoon and all. Hey, D. How's it going? Hope all's well over there. So we'll get started here. We got a few people in the chat, so I'm going to get started on the weekly rundown of our background here, courtesy of George from Redneck Aquatics. So if you're not familiar with George and his channel, make sure you go check out Redneck Aquatics, support him, show some love. He does some great work with his fish tanks, and we're going to discuss this one here real quick. I'll get myself out of the way here. There we go. So George's tank is a 72-inch by 24-inch by 30-inch, 210-gallon tank. So pretty big tank here. For lighting, he has a total of 3 fixtures. He has two Beamworks 72-inch full spectrum lights and a 148-inch Phoenix 24/7 planted plus light. So awesome lighting there for his plants, for his live plants. All live plants here, as you can see. For his substrate, he has 200 pounds of Eco Complete, and that's capped with pea gravel. So 200 pounds. And look, as you see now, you see is that a dwarf lily there? Or is it looks like a dwarf lily reaching its leaf up to the top there, up to the surface of the water. For filtration, he has two FX6 filters, canister filters. For fertilizers, he uses Aquarium Co-op Easy Green and Easy Iron. That's why his plants look all healthy and happy there. Great job there. For plant stocking, he has Jungle Bow, Amazon Swords, Anubias, and Java Fern. He has real driftwood for decoration. You can see some Java fern up there mounted to that driftwood up in the corner there. For fish, he has 10 angels, 2 neon tetras, 1 black skirt tetra, 1 silver skirt tetra, 6 flying foxes attacking that algae, 10 corridoras, 3 albino bushy nose plecos, ramshorn snails, narite snails, 4 sunburst platies, and 2 clown loaches. So my question real quick uh, for you, George. Do you have any issues with the clown loaches going after those snails? Really nice tank here. I'm sure even the camera doesn't do it justice when you're in person with a big tank like this. But great work. Plants look nice and healthy. Amazon sword there in the back is nice and bright. Everything's looking good. Is that Tiger Lotus? Oh, Tiger Lotus says Crystal Shack Aquatics. So let's go back up here and get caught up in the chat here. Chris's Fish Room says hello everyone. Thanks for joining, Chris. I appreciate you stopping in. Select Peck. The 75-gallon I got today was a gift from my wife. She said we could put it in the living room. Nice, man. I'm working on getting my last tank in the house out of the house into the fish room here in my garage in the man cave. Um, that's the last remaining 5 gallons going to be coming to my man cave here. That's awesome though. You got a 75-gallon for Christmas. David, hello, fish fam. I appreciate you stopping in, man. Angelo from Angelo's Fish Tanks. I appreciate the stickers you sent me this week, dude. Hey, Angelo, that's all good, dude. You got stuff to take care of. I appreciate you stopping in. Appreciate the stickers you sent this week. Hope you had a great Christmas, man. So everyone's saying hello to everybody. Driftwood is gorgeous, says one fish, two fish. I think the driftwood looks great. It's a nice touch there. And I like how it has a Java fern and Anubias mounted to it. One fish, two fish says like that, hit the like button, smack it. I appreciate that. Appreciate any likes I can get. Hey, Candy, I appreciate you stopping in. Hope you had a great Christmas and a great holiday with your family. I'm going to get my head back up in here if I can here. So, so great job, George. So that's again Redneck Aquatics. If you're not familiar with this channel, make sure you go show some support. Great member of the Fish Fam. I appreciate him sharing his favorite tank with us. If you have a favorite tank or a favorite fish or whatever it may be, send me a 1 minute clip or so to raccooncreekaquatics@gmail.com and I'll use it as my background and we'll discuss it and I'll show it off in one of my live streams. And if you can send some information such as any of the fish stocking that's in it, plant stocking, what you feed your fish, what you use for fertilizers, things such as lighting, how big the tank is, just general information that you'd like to share with your aquarium. And I'd love to share it and give you a shout out. And if you have a YouTube channel, I'll give your channel a shout out. And if I'm not familiar with it, I'll definitely check it out. But I'm familiar with most of the people in this chat here. And if you don't have a channel, that's okay. You can still share me your video and your favorite tank, and still use it as my background. I appreciate everyone, all the support that everyone's given me, and I'd like to help support everyone else as well. See if we can get back in the chat here before we get into the red plants. Everyone's asking each other how they're doing. 10 likes. Let's keep it up on the upswing. Hit it. I appreciate you. One fish, two fish. That's super awesome. Zion, hi everyone. Hey Zion, I appreciate you stopping in. Angelo's got to run. He's got to catch me later. So Thank you, Angelo. I'll talk to you later, man. Appreciate you stopping in, showing some support. So anyone know a website or something that shows what makes color variations of swordtails and what they are like at the core tuxedo, etc. Can anyone help select pet out with this question? I'm not sure. I don't have an answer for him right there. Redneck Aquatics says no CO2 yet. I'm working on it. Regulator comes in the mail tomorrow. Nice. I have the tank sitting here ready. I'm working on building a reactor. Sweet, dude. That's gonna look awesome. Redneck. All right, so we'll get into my discussion here with red plants. So what's everyone's? I'll pull up the see if I can't pull up the poll question from last week. Hang with me here. So I asked a question on my community tab. I said, "What is your favorite red plant?" And 50%. So the options were Ludwigia repens, Alternanthera rednecki, red tiger lotus, or other. 50% responded as Ludwigia repens. 11% responded as Alternanthera rednecki. 18% for red tiger lotus, and 21% for other. And a couple suggestions that came from other were Rotala rotundifolia, which I'm a big fan of. I have that in my 125. Um, and Rotala Walicki. And then Johan said Echinodorus Atlansberg. I'm sorry, I can't read right now. So that's a really cool plant. That's more like an Amazon sword that gets a reddish tint to it. Rotala rotundifolia is really cool because that's a bright green, and then in the right conditions with lighting, can turn to a nice reddish color. So awesome suggestions there. So what is everyone's? I'm curious. What is everyone's favorite red plant? Do you have experience with red plants? If you do, what is your favorite plant? Um, what's your perception of red plants? I know a lot of the perception right now is high light and CO2, iron, and for the most part, that's true in a lot of cases, but it doesn't necessarily have to be true. Um, so let's pull up here. Yeah, awesome angels. So I agree. Those 10 angels in that tank behind me is they're sweet. I definitely like to have at least a pair in my 125. So we'll see what happens there. Eric said, "Whoops, late. That's all good, dude. It's all good." Actually, that I have one of the plants I'm going to talk about. I actually learned from you. So um, props to Eric, my brother Eric, for that. So I want to talk about Ludwigia repens. So this is one of the red plants that I recommend for anybody who wants that splash of red, but doesn't have the CO2 injection or doesn't have the highlighting or doesn't have a whole lot of experience with live plants. Ludwigia repens, if it's in low lighting conditions, it can survive, but it'll be more of a green. But when you get to the better lighting and some iron in there, you can get those reddish browns and nice red colors. That's going to give you a nice red pop. So, um, like I said, lighting you want it to be medium to high. Um, Placement will be mid ground to background because it's a nice tall stem plant. Now, I suppose you could use it in your foreground if you want to keep it trimmed up, but best in the mid to background. Really fast grower, so it's going to help you outcompete that algae, help maintain a balanced tank by eating up those excess nutrients. Super easy plant. Another cool thing is it can be grown immersed. So if you want to start out your tank in the dry start method with the dry start method, you can definitely use this plant for that. And you don't need CO2, so you don't have to go through the expensive pressurized CO2 costs such as buying a cylinder, buying the pressure regulator and the solenoid. So you don't have to worry about getting a timer and keeping it in sync with your lights and things like that. So definitely, Ludwigia repens is a really fun plant. I had it in my old 37 gallon, so it does well without CO2 and it does really well with CO2. So, what does everyone think? Does everyone have experience uh, with Ludwigia repens? Patrick Robb, love the show, Jake. If you had to pick, what is your favorite fish? My favorite fish? Oh, I'm gonna say maybe the clown killie. That's one of my favorite. I had those in my old 37 gallon as well. They're nice little nano species of killifish. Really cool the way they float around their personalities with the swimming and really nice blue gem eyes, black and white stripes, and they look like a rocket. Their fins look like the color of a flame coming out the end of a rocket. They're really cool fish. So I'd have to say they're probably right up near the top. They're one of my favorites. Um, Thanks for the question, Patrick. One fish, two fish says, "Hello, Eric. No problem. Good to see you." Any non-stem red plants? Non-stem red plants. Um, Let me get down to non-stem red plant here. We'll say the Amazon sword, the Echinodorus Etlinsberg. That's a non-stem plant. That's more like an Amazon sword type of build. That's a red green. Turns red under the right lighting conditions. Medium plant, uh, mid ground to background, medium speed grower. Super easy. Can be grown immersed, and you don't need CO2. So that's uh, a non-stem plant that's red. Uh, Another one would be one that I learned from my brother Eric, that Cryptocorn spiralis tiger. So if you were here right before I kind of came on and it was my pre-screen, I can show you real quick um, my standby picture. That red picture right there is that Cryptocorn spiralis tiger. So really sweet picture. That's actually from my brother Eric's tank. You see the the long spear-like leaves are the spiralis, and then you see a little bit of the AR mini over here on the left side too. So he's got two red plants in there in this shot that I had there. But that's what that plant looks like. I actually had a little bit of a slideshow to show everyone, but I couldn't get to. I had some technical difficulties, couldn't get to show up on my show here. So two great red plants that are non-stem plants. Also another great one. Uh, get there real quick. The red tiger lotus. So that's actually one that George has here in my background. That's a reddish color tint. Really unique. Looks kind of like a lily, and it'll kind of act like a lily. It's a bulb plant, so it's not a stem plant. And um, if you allow it to, it'll actually shoot its leaves up to the surface, or you can keep it trimmed and keep it more bushy. Requires medium lighting, mid to background, medium growth rate, easy. Um, it can't be grown immersed though, so it's not a good option for a dry start method, and you don't need CO2. So um, really good options there between the red tiger lotus, the Echinodorus Atlansberg, and the Crypt spiralis tiger. So two options there for you as far as uh, red plants that are not stem plants. Let's see, let me get back up there. Cryptosplash tiger also like a good old dwarf lily. Yeah, dwarf lilies are really good ones too. Um, exactly like the dwarf tiger lotus or red tiger lotus. Yeah, the crypts turn red brown, like reddish brown, like the shot I told you or showed you. Um, and a nice splash of color there. And Eric's running higher light with CO2 in that tank, and it's looking really good. One fish, two fishes. Eric Burkholtz. My crypts are really good in the dirt, and you are on spot with that. They change colors, and of course, of the in the course of the day cycle. Yeah, so they look really good. Eric's look really good. Dan Slee says, "Hi all. Thank you, Dan, for showing up. Appreciate you joining and hanging out with us. We're talking red plants tonight. Um, Also, if you would like to check out Redneck Aquatics, if you're not familiar, go show him some support. Um, He has a nice YouTube channel, fish tank related, and he's actually who supplied our background right behind me here. That's his 210-gallon tank. So nice tank there. Let's see if one fish, two fish. Let's see if I can make you a moderator if you're willing. I don't know how to do that right now, so we'll worry about that later. But Um, Dan Slee says saying hello to everybody. So we'll go back to some more red plants. Eric, how do you feel about your AR Mini? How do you feel about that? That's a nice mid-ground slash foreground plant. I had that in the foreground in the front right corner of my old high-tech tank. That really responded well to CO2 and high light, and that's a plant that really seems to like to be trimmed and likes old leaves to be plucked off. It seems to respond well to being cut and played with. One thing that I did notice, the old growth. I don't know if you agree with this, Eric. The old growth tend to get a little bit of algae on it if you allowed it to. Light green algae on the old leaves at the bottom. Um, but if you just simply clip those off, it encourages new growth and it becomes even more bushy. So what's your thoughts on that? Phoenix's Aquatics 411 says, "How you doing, Dan? Hope everyone had a good Christmas. Like I said before, is anybody getting any good fish tank related gifts? I saw someone got a 75-gallon fish tank. That's awesome. I got a new stand for my background here, so I'm not stacking stuff up in my man cave slash fish room. So, all right. Eric says it's actually a regular AR. I like it, but my Amanos must be hungry because they're eating holes all over it. So, um, maybe they're just older leaves or something. Are they eating new growth on that? Don Gallagher, how's it going, man? I appreciate you stopping in. How you doing? Hope you had a good holiday with your family. So, more red plants that I was looking at, and I'm thinking about adding to my tank if I get CO2. So I mentioned before the AR Mini or the Altonin Thera Mini. So that's actually just a smaller variation. So there's like a regular variation that gets taller. That's a good mid to background plant. And then there's the Mini that stays a little bit smaller and is a good foreground to mid-ground plant. So I always say though with stem plants, it just depends on how often you want to trim them. If you want to keep them short, you can keep it in the background or in the foreground. Um, so this is a stem plant. It's nice and red. It prefers medium to high lighting. So this is actually a plant that's not as much of an easy beginner plant. It's not hard. It's not any as near as finicky as some of the red plants can be. I'd say that's medium difficulty as opposed to easy. I'd say that's more in the medium. Growth rate is medium. It can be grown immersed. So again, if you're starting that dry start method to start out our tank, which I have done before in two separate tanks, um, that's definitely an option. And I highly recommend CO2 with this one. Dosage of iron. Um, although some would say it's not necessarily required. I definitely think CO2 would be best for this plant. So um, what's everyone think? Anybody have any other experience with red plants or have another? Dan, since you're in the chat, do you have a favorite red plant that you have experience with or would like to try? Um, let us know what that is. One fish, two fish. Remember to hit that like button. 21 folks in here right now. I appreciate everyone for stopping in, um, taking the time in the middle of the week, especially after a holiday. Don says, I got a long fluval scissors and tweezers for Christmas. Nice. Some aquascaping tools. That's awesome. Always nice to get some awesome things. I know a lot of people, sounds like a lot of people got some nice fish tank related stuff for Christmas. So that's awesome. Awesome supportive family. My wife is one of the most supportive people I've ever known, and she's supports me fully in this fish tank endeavor. Um, so sometime I'd like to do a video on what it's like to have a wife of a fish tank person. So that also does YouTube and stuff. So I'd like to question her and see what that's like. ASAP Fishing 1. Hello, guys. I'm new. Welcome, ASAP Fishing. Appreciate you stopping in. show him some support. He's all about it. He has a fishing channel. He's got some cool stuff. So make sure you go check him out. Show him some support. Select Peck says not new to me. ASAP fishing. One fish, two fish says you're the one with the Barbie fishing pole, right? Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out. I forgot about that. I'm really interested in checking that out. So, a couple more red plants here. One with the Rotala rotundifolia. So this is a really interesting plant that I currently have in my 125. So I'm already seeing some new growth. I just planted it like 2 weeks ago, showing all kinds of bright new growth. So this is a plant that can be bright green and then show some red when it gets closer to that high light spectrum. So excuse me. So mine right now is showing bright green because I don't have the lighting all cranked up. I don't have the CO2 injection in there. It might turn a little bit pinkish and reddish when it gets higher up, closer to the light. So we'll see what happens. But it's showing all kinds of nice new growth. Lighting for this will be medium to high. Placement is mid ground to background for the stem plant. Growth is really fast, so I'm seeing all kinds of new growth and can testify to that fast growth rate. And it's definitely an easy plant, so it's not difficult to get to grow. It just needs the right conditions to get that reddish hint that you're looking for, like reddish hue you're looking for. So I've never grown this plant immersed, but it can be grown immersed, and it does not require CO2. So, but again, with all of these, I say CO2 makes everything better. Even if it doesn't need CO2 to grow and grow well, I highly recommend CO2 if you're looking for that reddish hue that you're looking for out of any of these plants. So that's 6 plants. I got Ludwigia repens, especially for those who are new to plants and want that splash of color. Ludwigia repens is a really fun plant. The AR mini, or both variations, the AR or the AR mini, the red tiger lotus, another great beginner plant if you want that colorful hue. Rotala rotundifolia, awesome, cool stem plant that's got those thinner needle-like leaves that I can endorse. Atlenberg. So this is something that's new to me that I haven't played with yet. So I might have to try this out sometime. But this is more like a Amazon sword type plant that gets a reddish hue under the right conditions. Heavy root feeder, and then the Cryptospiralis tiger that I learned about from my brother Eric. So, awesome plants that have a red hue. Um, so, are there any other red plants that anybody that I didn't talk about that maybe um, is worth mentioning? Anybody have any experience with red plants? Let's see here. Let me get back here. Everyone's saying hello to ASAP. One fish, two fish says, if so, he caught a carp with one. He died laughing. So I'm gonna have to check that out. I haven't seen that one yet. That sounds hilarious. I'm gonna have to check it out. Eric says, I really want to try AR Rosennervig. The wife would love the pink. I'm gonna have to check that out. Let me Google that real quick. AR Rose. What is that, Eric? Rosennervig. Rosennervig. See if I can get a good picture here. Images. Oh yeah, it's a pretty color. Nice bright pink. You're right, Eric. Megan would like that. Really cool. That's a really cool plant. Not familiar with. So where do you find a lot of these plant species that I've never heard of, Eric? How do you familiarize with that? Familiarize yourself with that? Is that the one that pink flamingo that folks talk about? That's a type of crypt. So Eric's talking about a strain of AR of Alternanthera reneki. IFG, keep up the good work. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you stopping in. That's awesome. How you doing, man? Hope you had a good Christmas, a good holiday with your family. I love what you're doing with some of your ponds, man. Um, You're actually inspiring me. You and Unconventional Anthony from Unconventional Aquatics are kind of inspiring me. I would love to try to get maybe a little mini pond out of a tub or something. So, awesome work that you do, IFG. See, Eric, I almost got it instead of a standard AR. So you should have tried it, Eric. You should have gone into it. Mindy says hello all. Appreciate you stopping in, Mindy. Showing some support. Eric says he's been regretting it ever since. What's $5 in shipping? As expensive as it is. That's true, Eric. By the time you spend shipping for things like live plants or live fish, you may as well just spend the extra $5 on a plant or whatever it is, a fish or whatever it is. D from down the wormhole says I found a Canadian plant live auction site on Facebook. Amazing plants too. That's cool. That's awesome. So I recently joined a Facebook group because we're near, we'll say the Toledo, Ohio area. So I'll be interested to see if there's anything like that, like any events or anything going on with that Facebook group. But that's really cool. So it's just something Eric stumbled. So that Rosenberg or whatever it is, Roseanne Ervig is something Eric just stumbled across on boostplant.com. That's awesome. Crystal Shack Aquatics says hi Don Gallagher. So awesome, just hanging out with everybody. Um, so Eric's like the red plant encyclopedia. He's the guy that he finds all these different plants that I'm not really familiar with. So if I ever end up with a unique colored reddish plant, that's probably where I got the idea from. Uh, so he likes to look up all that stuff. He ends up with a good. So how many species do you have in your 20-gallon, Eric? Like 20 or something like that? Don Gallagher saying hello to Crystal Shack Aquatics. So I just want to say again, since it's been a while, anybody who's new joining the stream, if you would like to check out Redneck Aquatics, he's our featured background for today. So um, definitely check out his YouTube channel. If you would like to have your own favorite tank featured as my background for these live streams, shoot me an email with a 1 minute clip of your favorite tank to raccooncreekaquatics@gmail.com, and I'll share it and use it as my background. And we'll talk about it, give you a shout out. You don't have to have a YouTube channel, but if you do have a fish tank related YouTube channel, I'll go ahead and check you out if I haven't already checked you out, and I'll give you a good shout out and make sure everyone's aware and can go show some support. So, um, and with that, you can go ahead and share what you keep as far as plants, if there's plants in it, the fish stocking, what you feed your fish, what you use as fertilizers, substrate, lighting, and so on. So, great way to share our hobby and what our favorite showcase tanks are. Any could just be a favorite fish. If you just want to share your favorite fish, we can do that. So raccoon@gmail.com. Eric says, "Yeah, I don't know how many. I just ripped out a couple species of crypt, so I actually benefited from that. I have several plants of crypt that Eric uh, pulled out of his tank. So I've already utilized a little bit of that in my 125, and I'm actually going to be rescaping my 5-gallon bonsai tree tank. So I might be utilizing some of that in there as well. So um, pretty excited about that." ASAP Fishing says, "I appreciate it, guys." I'll do that tonight, man. I'm gonna look for that Barbie pole. I'm gonna watch that tonight. So let's see. Wish I could. I don't want to mess everything up by trying to pull up that picture of the plant Eric was talking about, but kind of curious. I'd like to show it off. That's a really cool color pink. So here in northeast Ohio, so it's about an hour and a half from where we live. Uh, so we're gonna be watching for that. I'm gonna post that on my Sunday upload. So we're gonna have some fun there. I'm really excited. So stay tuned to the channel coming this Sunday. Probably, possibly later in the day, maybe like 5 or 6 o'clock is when I'm going to aim to have that video posted. So stay tuned for that. And then if any of you are familiar with the Cleveland area, after that, I would like to stop through a fish store. So if you know of any awesome fish stores in Northeast Ohio, the Cleveland, mainly the Cleveland area, make sure you let me know and I'll go check it out. Maybe I'll bring home my first inhabitant to the 125. So actually I have some new hardscape going into the tank tomorrow, so I'm pretty excited about that. Have some new rocks and such, so be working on that tomorrow. So, oh, moving some stuff around here. So, all right. So I think it's a good time to start to shut it down unless we get some new activity here. I appreciate everyone stopping in and showing the love, showing the support. Again, Redneck Aquatics, make sure you check him out. Great looking tank for my background here. Um, Hope you had a great holiday and have a great week ahead. I don't know if you're working this week, I am fortunate enough to have the week off, so I'm going to be enjoying that. I'm going to be taking my road trip to Northeast Ohio to that destination mm, on Friday. So appreciate everyone stopping in. Have a great week, and I'll see you guys later. Thank you, guys.